The Arrhythmia Alliance is a fantastic organization whose main aim is to increase awareness and advocate for heart rhythm disorders. The goal of the organization is to make more people aware of heart rhythm disorders. People know what a heart attack is, but they don't know what atrial fibrillation is. So this is the work that the Arrhythmia Alliance is doing. By increasing awareness, more patients will get to seek medical attention, be appropriately diagnosed and treated. So it's a very special organization with a very important goal. Well, they've had a number of campaigns, but a big campaign has been Know Your Pulse, sort of this AFib detection. It's a very big issue. I mean, the data says that if you screen a population of individuals in 5 to 10%, you'll pick up atrial fibrillation. So they've had a number of campaigns where they show up and get people to check their pulse and detect unsuspected atrial fibrillation. They'll never diagnose it, but they'll encourage those individuals where they suspect AFib to seek medical attention and go to their doctor and be appropriately diagnosed. They also put on conferences. Recently, they put on a wonderful conference on VT and sudden death in London, and they bring all the arrhythmia community together to speak at these conferences. They organize these conferences, so they're working on many different levels to sort of really educate patients and physicians about arrhythmias and to increase awareness.
So I have been a member of the Arrhythmia Alliance for now over 11 years. I was very honored to join the advisory board and the steering committee of the Arrhythmia Alliance. And I think it's a great way of communicating what we can do as doctors to our patients and the bigger public. Because a lot of times we believe the public knows, but it turns out they don't. They don't know how important it is to know if your pulse is regular or irregular. They don't know that they run a risk of suffering a stroke. They don't know what to do if someone collapses in the street. And that kind of education that we have to bring not only to junior doctors, but to the public, because they need to do the right measures. They need to find a defibrillator. They need to call 911. They need to have the right action if someone has their facial loss and signs of stroke. These are the people who have to ring the alarm bells. Otherwise, we as doctors come too late. And I think that is a very important global problem. You know, I practice in the UK, but it is not different from the US or Germany or anywhere else in Asia. It's the same problem everywhere. And I think that is a very good, alliance between doctors and the public. It's really, we need to get the patients before they become patients to us.
The AF Association has really been very important in empowering the patients with good information about AF, about the complications it can have, about how they should be able, how people with the condition can be able to get some peer support about their symptoms, about their concerns about the condition, and about promoting not only within the public but within parliamentarians and politicians, how best to have the healthcare systems that can deal with atrial fibrillation. So I think it's been incredibly effective in doing all the things it set out to do, helping patients and to be a patient advocate in policy. Well, the Arrhythmia Alliance was the thing that started it all off. And it was a patient care organisation that took calls. Very soon, they realised that half the calls were coming from people with atrial fibrillation. So in that respect, it spawned AFA, and the two are combined. But AFA is a very big part of what AA does.
STARS has actually been wonderful. It's been wonderful for patients and wonderful for us. Everybody knows what its contributions are in the UK. In Canada, though, what STARS taught us very early, starting about 5 or 6 years ago was how to listen to patients. And because of STARS, solely because of STARS, starting in 2014, we went back to Canada and we had patients set our research priorities for us, which is really a difference from the way we usually do it. And patients set our national priorities. We have nationally funded programs to tackle the problems that patients think are most important. And the person who drove that is Trudy Lovin.
I think the new alliance between touchCARDIO and the Arrhythmia Alliance will be beneficial on both sides. I think from the Arrhythmia Alliance perspective, it will give more access to information for patients in different formats with more videos, more sound bites, and I think overall working with the two organisations will be very beneficial.
I think the partnership between Arrhythmia Alliance and touchCARDIO is an excellent thing. The Arrhythmia Alliance is all about partnerships between physicians, patients, allied healthcare professionals and all the other stakeholders in industry and beyond. I think that this is an example where the Arrhythmia Alliance is going to be able to collaborate and get many of the messages about arrhythmia care out to patients in a way that will be beneficial for healthcare and patient well-being.
I think the collaboration between the Arrhythmia Alliance and touchCARDIO will be very beneficial not only for health professionals but also for patients. I think this will increase the education that we can offer to both patients and healthcare professionals. It will increase global awareness, it will increase awareness on the internet. And I think overall, I think it's a very exciting and attractive time for both organisations.
I think this new partnership will enable electrophysiologists and allied healthcare professionals to have access to new information, new clinical data, new thoughts from key opinion leaders in a way that will enable them to stay in touch and keep their practice right up to speed.